I call on the honorable member for Bakau. Bakau, please. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I would like to withdraw because I think my concern has been tackled by the committee. So I thank you
very well. Thank you. Honorable member for BUNDUNG KUNDA. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I would like to equally thank the Select Committee or the Standing Committee for their quick intervention looking at the motion that was laid in this House yesterday. Though the time is short, but nevertheless, they were here while some of us are at home. So we thank you very much for your effort. But, Honorable Speaker, it shows that the executive, the way they deal with the National Assembly, need to be looked at. How I see things is the executive will do their work as they are supposed to and wait until at the last minute or at the dying minute they will come to us and put emergency on our side. And sometimes this we find it very difficult to make informed decisions about critical issues that face us in this assembly. Honorable Speaker, I think the executive first need to change the way they deal with this assembly, because we have seen this has manifested many times, and yesterday was another day. The situation should elapse today, and the minister came yesterday, and they want us to make that decision yesterday. This was heard, and sometimes some of us are concerned. We find it very difficult in our concerns whether we are really trying to represent our people here without making informed decisions. And the way they do things definitely has manifested in the motion of the minister yesterday. If you look at the report of the Standing Committee, that is page 3, number 7. Honorable Speaker, the President made the first declaration on the 18th of March 2020. And they also think that the Assembly was not on session. I find it hard to believe that, because we were on session, they were aware, and it was suspended because of the virus. I think the whole Gambia was aware of that. And yet still they tell us that, they think that we are not on session, which should elapse on the 25th day of March. And yet they correct the situation by making another pronouncement without, in fact, informing Gambians what went wrong, what happened, and why the second proclamation. So, Honorable Speaker, the executive or the minister should try to avoid this so that we can all be able to do our work properly. If they allow themselves to do their work properly, I think it is fair enough for them to also give us time Honorable Speaker, I must also thank the Minister of Health. I know it has not been easy for him, and sometimes watching him on GRTS, I sometimes sympathize him. We, the National Assembly, we also took it upon ourselves to go back to our various constituencies to make sure we inform our people so that they realize that this COVID-19 is real. Honorable Speaker, I think, in fact, some of the members need to be sensitized about this. I think still some do not still believe that this virus, this COVID-19 is very serious and deadly. Sometimes I tremble when I discuss with my colleagues about this thing. I mean, I think you can trust me if I said this thing is real. Since the first death case come from my constituency, even though if he is not a Gambian, I took it upon myself to follow the case up to the last minute, and I know what happened. But even in Bundung, as some of my colleagues said, some still did not believe that this thing is real. Sometimes you'll be talking to people, and I don't know whether out of courtesy, they will say, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. And when you leave them, they go back to their normal settings, or they don't even observe the social distancing. Sometimes, on other cases, some did not even pay attention to you when you are talking to them. And I want Gambians to realize that this is very serious. And I think they should follow the case, and also the Ministry of Health should do more to make sure that Gambians are informed in our national languages, for them to realize what is at stake here. Because many people believe that this Gambia may be in fact a Gambia. A real Gambian will not die of this disease, which sometimes if I hear, I feel very bad about, because to me, this is not a joke. Honorable Speaker, if we go back to the report, the definition of open market and essential commodities and non-essential commodities, I think as it is recommended by the committee, that need to be looked into thoroughly, simply because non-essential commodity sometimes is very difficult to define, because one may be essential to you, one may be non-essential to you, maybe an essential commodity to me. And in fact, if you look at the regulations, in another regulation, foodstuffs are essential commodities, and another regulation, a cement which is not a foodstuff is considered as essential commodities. So I think the executive should try to look at these things seriously and realize that we are talking of disease here, and we are talking of survival, and we need to strike a balance. People need to understand and take this thing as real thing, and it is dangerous, and also we need to know that people also should survive, and we need to strike a very good balance here so that we will be able to forge our way ahead. I think that is why we are here. But if you said you are closing my shop because I'm not selling foodstuff, but I get money from that to buy food to survive. Now, if you close my survival, how do you expect me to survive, Honorable Speaker? And yet, the government, is this the responsibility of the government to look into all those things? If not government, which body will be there to look into those issues? It's the responsibility of the government. You want people to be at home. In fact, they are saying 90 days, whatever. To me, in fact, 2 weeks is okay. Though I respect the standing committee and I agree with, I support their 45 days. But to me, if we have regulations, enforcement to the latter about this issue, we need a lockdown of 2 weeks or 21 days. Then we will break the chain of spreading, and we will. But if we make it 90 days, or we make it 100 days, or 120 days, and there are no restricted measures, or there are no enforcement to the latter, what are we doing? Are we serious about this? I think we will only encourage the spread of the disease. And we know that there is no cure as of now. What we can do is to stop the spread. And the way we should stop the spread is lockdown. People sit in their homes. But when I was going around in my constituency sensitizing people, I see a lot of boys grouping together playing. Talking to them, they think that, oh, this MP can talk too much. Because they think that it is announced, and yeah, it is announced, but no enforcement. So even if we make it 90 days or whatsoever, what we need is a short time and enforcement, period. Then we will know where we are. If we know where we are, then we will know where we are going. But that is not the case. It has been pronounced and what? Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think also in the regulations, the task force are given powers, and in some cases it is said that they will do whatever necessary to do their job. Honorable Speaker, I think the task force also need to be guided, because sometimes we give power to people and they overstep their boundaries in the name of doing their job, when actually they are not doing their job, because we just leave them without guiding them, setting a proper check for them. So I think that also need to be looked at, so that they will also not overstep their boundaries. Honorable Speaker, on a restriction on open market and shopping areas, Emergency Power Regulation 2020, it says all non-food outlets in the market will be closed to the public for business. And as I said, in that, cement is an essential commodity. So I think the executive should look into this. Honorable Speaker, on restriction on public transport and emergency powers regulation 2020, number 21A, limiting the number of passengers that the vehicle is launching to carry. These vehicle owners and the drivers, commercial taxi drivers, they are not charitable organizations. I mean, they don't have money there to buy fuel and go carry people. They give them half fare when they will not even be able to buy fuel for them to be able to work tomorrow, much more to have food on their table. And the government, I think the government is looking at this at only one side. There is another side of the story. I think the government should look critically into these things. You cannot just say, taxi drivers have passengers and you stop there. I think that is unfair. We need to strike a balance. These are emergency situations. We don't need to look at only one side. Reduce to half passengers of the Lansing you are asked to carry. Then I'm going to reduce the price of fuel halfway. I think that's fair. Then the government will be fair to them. And in fact, we understand that, and it is said in the report that the past 3 months, the fuel is going down. And they are telling us that they are looking into this, in this emergency situation. When are you going to look into this? When the crisis is here? This should be looked into since. And now you are coming here telling us that you are looking into this. The fuel is almost down, almost to a half price in the world market. So, Honorable Speaker, I think with all honesty, the government should be fair to Gambians, to do things accordingly so that all what we are doing, all the efforts we are doing will be able to work as we expect it to work. In fact, Honorable Speaker, to me, I was expecting the Minister of Finance to come with the Justice Minister, to come here with a coronavirus response bill, which should be intended for providing relief, aid packages, that will be able to keep Gambians at home. Because with all honesty, if you cut the livelihood of people, their source of living, you ask them to stay home, empty stomach, how many days? I think they may rebel. People might be forced to come out, and that will not be good for anybody. So, in order for government to come up with these things, I think the government should come up with a package for the less vulnerable. My honorable colleague said when it was first announced, a civil servant loaded his truck or pickup with foodstuff. Many Gambians here are living from hand to mouth. They cannot provide their next day meal, much more to buy in bulk. So if we think that we can afford that from our salary, many civil servants cannot even, in fact, afford that. They cannot do it. All these things need to be looked at critically. But if not, we are just, I'm sorry, wasting our time here. Definitely we know that the government, these are critical moments. We are in crisis, state of public emergency, and we know that government has obligations, and these obligations, we sometimes in this public emergency we give them powers, extra powers that they need to do these things, and we are ready to give government those powers for them to do whatever is
Madam
necessary.
Speaker, point of order, please. Yes, a point of observation, if you will allow me.
Observation, well.
I'm sorry. I will not allow you. You can do that. You have time.
Okay, thank you.
So, Honorable Speaker, we know that some of these measures, in fact, will infringe the movement of people, the liberty of people. But whatsoever, the government should also look at the other side of the coin so that, we can strike a balance. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we heard it from the president that he released 500 million. And the president did not go further to tell us whether this is a grant or this is from the budget, and which part of the budget. It was this 500 million that was released. This needs to be clear. Look, the government should be accountable to people. The government did not put himself there. People put him there because people trust him, trust the executive. These executives should always try to inform people so that speculations can't reduce. Yes, I authorize. Yes, you authorize. From where? What powers? So that it come here for it to be ratified. For us as National Assembly, we don't even know if we are asked, we don't even know the answers to those questions. So for the interest for everybody, I think the executive should help the situation by trying to inform people in this time, which is very crucial in this crusade. Once again, I would like to thank the minister, which is always on his toes to make sure that people are get informed. But know that there are many unanswered questions, so you need to redouble